Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers as it concerns Russell Westbrook and Frank Vogel's future with the Los Angeles Lakers, and many more when it comes to the Lakers management going into the off season. And I want to give you all my thoughts and my opinions about the Lakers' future moving forward. Now, before I get into it, guys, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share my videos all over Facebook, Twitter, all the good social media stuff, and of course, like always, please be sure to like my page on Facebook, ZSPN, and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ZSPN. I really do appreciate the love and support you guys give me all across social media, and of course on this channel, ZSPN on YouTube, and of course on my podcast as well. I appreciate the support there as well, and of course social media and ZSPN on YouTube. Much appreciated. So guys, there's been news, or actually rumors as of late, when it comes to the Lakers and Russell Westbrook, and also the coaching and even management when it comes to their futures with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, according to Bleacher Report, and I believe it was from Jacob Fischer, he basically puts out, I guess, an opinion piece or just some basic rumors when it comes to the status of Russell Westbrook's future with the Los Angeles Lakers. And basically, the bottom line is that Russell Westbrook wants out of LA. He specifically the Los Angeles Lakers. He sees that it's not working out, and he really wants to make a trade happen in the offseason that will best fit him and the organization moving forward. And the Lakers second that. I mean, they are interested of trading Russell Westbrook in the offseason. And guys, this all started when it came to the trade deadline, when the Lakers did not make a move to trade Russell Westbrook at the trade deadline. And all indications was that the Lakers were going to make a move potentially in the offseason to trade Russell Westbrook. I mean, that was already there in bold words out there when it comes to that particular instance, but now the rumors and speculations is starting to heat up when it comes to those particular rumors being potentially in existence when it comes to that potentially happening. And guys, just on a personal note, when it comes to Russell Westbrook as a Laker, sure, at first I was like all Laker fans when it comes to Russell Westbrook returning to Los Angeles and being a Los Angeles Laker, and just the prestige of Mr. Triple Double, and a guy that God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant admired, bringing that athleticism that he's well known throughout his career, and just being that assassin that we obviously appreciated from Russell Westbrook during his times in OKC and stuff like that. But unfortunately, when it comes to him being a Los Angeles Laker, it has not worked out at the end, and obviously till now it was just a horrible ride when it comes to the fit of Russell Westbrook with the Los Angeles Lakers. And there's a lot to blame when it comes to this particular move to begin with. We can blame management. That's why I will get into the issue with Rob Pelinka and his future with the Los Angeles Lakers in a moment. But when it comes to that, there's also to blame when it comes to LeBron James. I mean, he was also the main reason of how this roster was put together. I mean, let's just be honest here. I mean, if Rob Pelinka did not go to LeBron James to, make sure that, should we get this person, that person, and make it an okay type of decision, obviously, things would have been much differently. But obviously, Rob Pelinka needs to go through LeBron to make things happen. So obviously, we had to put some consideration when it comes to, LeBron James' decision of bringing in Russell Westbrook, but instead of going after Buddy Hield, which it was just in our graphs before the I believe the NBA draft that could have went down, but unfortunately the Lakers went to a different direction and it did not work out at the end. And now the Lakers are basically a laughing stock, not just in the NBA, but sadly in Los Angeles, especially in the crypto.com arena. They're being booed for lack of performance and lack of effort, and some of that has to do obviously with the main guy, and that is Russell Westbrook, not living up to expectations as a Los Angeles Laker. And now he just wants out. He wants out as a Los Angeles Laker. Now, what would that look like? It sort of remains to be seen at the moment. What type of trades that could potentially go down when it comes to packaging a deal to trade Russell Westbrook. It's so up in the air as of this moment because it's still fresh, still new when it comes to this particular rumor report. But, all indications is that the Lakers will look at all of their options when it comes to, potentially trade Russell Westbrook. And guys, I'm going to say this now. When it comes to the idea that the Lakers could potentially waive Russell Westbrook, I'm going to say this now, that is a bad idea all around when it comes to waiving Russell Westbrook, because there's that karma that we are still dealing with today when it comes to waiving somebody that had a big contract, and he's still in the books till this day, potentially after this season. So, no, in the off season. So he'll be off the books then. And I think we all know where I'm going with this, and that is Luol Deng. When the Lakers waived him, I believe back in 2017 or 2018 or somewhere around there, they had to waive him and basically stretched his contract. And since then he's been retired and been obviously getting paid without playing any sort of games since his retirement. And now this offseason, he will be off the books. Now, the idea of the Lakers waiving him is a bad move because we don't want that same rotation, that same repeat of the Luol Deng contract. And, we don't want to, somebody to, pay Russell Westbrook if potentially he'll be part of a team, or, maybe not playing any sort of games if he decides to, retire or anything like that, and the Lakers still be paying him. So it's a bad idea in my opinion, and I think the Lakers should do whatever it takes to trade him to somewhere that he'll be more comfortable in, and the Lakers could potentially get some value out of Russell Westbrook. Now, it still remains to be seen what that be. All I know is that when it comes to a trade package, you can bet your dollar that a first-round pick will be involved when it comes to trading Russell Westbrook. There is no doubt in my mind that that will potentially be part of that. And it sort of remains to be seen what type of team that would accept Russell Westbrook's contract and a potential pick. So it's so up in the air as of this moment. But recently, I was listening to Lakers Nation, a couple of days ago, and Trevor Lane, I believe he had a guest on. His name escapes me at the moment, but his guest, and he's not really a guest. He's part of Lakers Nation, so the staff there. He basically brings up a potential trade for Russell Westbrook, and the trade involves with the Indiana Pacers, and basically the Lakers getting Matthew Brogdon and I believe Buddy Hield, but I might be mistaken. It might be not be Buddy Hield part of that trade, but it's basically a guy, some players with lengthy contracts or somewhat of a bad contracts when it comes to their talent wise, and basically the Lakers getting those players in return to finally trade Russell Westbrook, to basically not have him on the team and have somebody else that could potentially be a fit alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis, just basic rotational type of players that could benefit our superstars. So when it comes down to that, that type of trade. Matthew Brogdon, who is he's somewhat of an injured prone type of guy, but when healthy, he does produce. And obviously, the idea of having Buddy Hield is another scenario that could potentially happen, that could be brought up again when it comes to him being part of the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's another idea when it comes to that sort of instance. But, I kind of agreed with that reporter of the Los Angeles, no, the Lakers Nation staff when it came to that particular idea. But, that's sort of way. I mean, if there's a contract out there that some sort of team doesn't want to pay, and, look at the Lakers and say, we'll get Russell Westbrook in a first round pick, and you just take one of our guys, and maybe somehow that'll be a type of scenario potentially in the offseason. But, still remains to be seen. Still remains to be seen about that. So look forward to a potential rumored, rumors when it comes to the Lakers and Russell Westbrook and a potential trade this off season. So, and guys, it's just it just hasn't been working out. And obviously, Lakers Nation, Laker fans, and including myself, are just basically done with Russell Westbrook. It's not working out, and I don't think it will never work out because of his efforts as of late. The season so far has been abysmal. So, we just have to wait and see what will happen in the offseason with Russell Westbrook. But continuing on, I went on that tangent there, but that's the most, important news as of late when it comes to Russell Westbrook and his futures with the Los Angeles Lakers. But secondly, another future in mind when it comes to someone else, and that is head coach Frank Vogel. Obviously, there's no doubt in my mind, and I will be surprised if he does come back to the Los Angeles Lakers, but all signs are showing that he will be let go this offseason, or maybe if the Lakers continue this route that they're on right now when it comes to losing games and not performing to the best of their ability, maybe Frank Vogel will be fired when it comes to all said and done as a Los Angeles Lakers. So when it comes down to it, all expectations is that he will potentially get fired. It still remains to be seen as it stands now who will be his replacement. All signs are indicating that the Lakers may go with another defensive-minded coach. And I think I also, second that when it comes to the Lakers looking for another head coach that has that defensive-minded type of coaching to the table, because it has worked in the past, and but it sort of remains to be seen who will that be. So and I won't really expect when it comes to the rest of the staffs to stick around, especially when it comes to David Fisdale, who did at one point became the acting head coach when Frank Vogel got COVID. But when it comes down to that, his futures moving forward with the Los Angeles Lakers is questionable, but I won't really see him being part of the Lakers when it comes to being a head coach next season if he's replacing Frank Vogel. So that's the indications when it comes to that sort of predicament. It sort of remains to be seen. I mean, that who will be the next head coach next season? It's so up in the air, guys, because we're not sure who is on the Lakers' mindset when it comes to hiring. There's a lot of names that came up when it comes to coaches like Phil Hanley, who is part of the Lakers staff, and he has a bright future when it comes to potentially being a head coach in this league. So when it comes to that sort of instance, maybe he'll be part of the consideration for the head coaching job, but still remains to be seen about that. So, but guys, as it stands now, I can't really think of any on the top of my head when it comes to head coaches that could potentially replace Frank Vogel. maybe Mark Jackson, who's always been in the rumor mills of being the head coach for the Lakers, and Lakers Nation, Laker fans were championing for Mark Jackson to be part of the Los Angeles Lakers as the head coach. So he could potentially be a rumored guy when it comes to the hiring process. Other than that, I can't really think of any others on the top of my head at this moment. But Phil Hanley comes to mind, and Mark Jackson. But once the offseason approaches and the news comes out that Frank Vogel is fired, you can bet your dollar that the potential hires of certain coaches will be in the rumor mill to be part of the Los Angeles Lakers when it comes all said and done. So expect that to happen in the off season. But as it stands now, Frank Vogel is still the head coach for the Lakers until otherwise. But more into the news, guys, I have to also bring up there's been some reports as of late when it comes to the management, specifically the GM, Rob Pelinka. His futures is kind of bleak at this moment. There's been talks that the Lakers could potentially find a replacement for Rob Pelinka if they do when they do decide to trade fire Rob Pelinka if necessary, if they just want to move on and go in a different direction. And I believe there's been some names came up when it comes to a potential replacement. I believe Omar Welks is in the conversation for a potential hire for the next GM role with the Los Angeles Lakers, but he's also a part of Clutch Sports, so that's also plays another big role when it comes to bringing in another agent to be a GM, similar to what Rob Pelinka was, and what was Bob Myers from the I believe the Golden State Warriors. So there's some teams in the NBA are going that route, but I kind of question this type of decision when it comes to that particular instance, because the Lakers are still playing that type of role of just finding an agent that could connect with players and just turn them into GMs. And obviously it worked. I mean, obviously when it comes to Rob Pelinka, he has done a good job when it comes to signing certain players that will be a certain game changer for the Lakers when it comes to bringing in some talent. Obviously, when the Lakers won the 2020 championship, Rob Pelinka went to Plan B mode and signed, some players that were a fit during that time. Obviously, they brought in some pieces that fit with the schemes of what LeBron James brings to the table and Anthony Davis, and obviously that trade that for Anthony Davis was also that made his GM career when it comes to that particular move. And obviously with that, we won a championship with that type of move. And that second year when we got Montrezl Harrell and bringing back key players to stay on with the Los Angeles Lakers, and bringing in Dennis Schroeder. I mean, those were smart moves on Rob Pelinka's part when it comes to that connection that he has when it comes to being a former agent and stuff. So, and even though that particular year did not work out at the end, we have to give Rob Pelinka some credit when it comes to building up that roster for that potential repeat, but unfortunately it just never happened, and because of injuries. So we have to put that into consideration and acknowledge that Rob Pelinka did do some things that really benefited the team, but obviously when it came to last season when trading Russell Westbrook for the farm and some picks, obviously did not panned out, and obviously the Lakers are suffering as of this moment when it comes to that particular move. So Uh, his job is on the hot seat now when it comes to potentially finding a replacement. So it's kind of questionable at the moment, but I have full confidence that maybe Rob Pelinka will stick around. But it still remains to be seen about that because of the relationship that he has with the organization, with Jeannie Buss, and plus being a former agent for Kobe Bryant. That relationship there plays a big role as well. But there's also some instance out there when it comes to reports that maybe the Lakers will keep Rob Pelinka on board, but just as the GM, and consider finding someone who is an executive guy that will play the role of president of basketball operations. Maybe they'll bring that sort of role back to the Lakers management. So because obviously Rob Pelinka plays all of those roles when it comes to those two positions, when it comes to president of basketball operations and GM. So we have to consider those sort of instances when it comes to that. But obviously, we have to wait and see what's on the Lakers' plans when it comes to Rob Pelinka's future. But, I'm not going to bet on the idea that he will lose his job. But maybe and I think this is a smart move. I mean, if the Lakers keep Rob Pelinka on board and decide to go for an executive for president of basketball operations, then that'll be a smart move because obviously, if you have Rob Pelinka still on the management, you can still keep him around to have that player connection as a former agent and just have a president of basketball operations to make the final call when it comes to certain players and certain trades that he will potentially talk with certain agents certain GMs and other executives when it comes to those certain decisions when it comes to that. So, we just have to put that into consideration when it comes to the off season. Still remains to be seen if it will happen, but there has been talks. There has been talks about the future of Rob Pelinka with the Los Angeles Lakers, and we have to acknowledge that when it comes to his future with the Los Angeles Lakers. And yeah, guys, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talks in the offseason and a lot of changes going to be made when it comes to that. So expect next season that the Lakers will be a much different team again, and obviously having a new coach. And also, maybe we'll not have Russell Westbrook next season. But, still remains to be seen about that. It's still rumors. But you never know. Things could come into fruition in the offseason that could obviously change things for the Lakers, next season moving forward. And yeah, guys, I mean, that's all I really have to say. I mean, please give me your thoughts in the comment section down below about these rumors. Do you think that it's realistic that we'll see some of the news that maybe Russell Westbrook will be out of LA and Frank Vogel being fired, and I don't know, the status of Rob Pelinka could be in jeopardy in the offseason? Do you think they're valid and could potentially happen? Please give me your thoughts about that. And who do you think the Lakers could potentially, for one thing, when it comes to trading Russell Westbrook, who do you think they should get or potentially package a deal to get somebody? Excuse me. When it comes to that sort of instance, I mean, I really want to know your thoughts about that in the comment section. And also, who do you think the Lakers should hire when it comes to the next head coach? I don't really have the names on the top of my head because it's so early right now. But these are just recent rumors when it comes to Frank Vogel's being on the hot seat for his job. So expect some news coming out when it comes to a potential hire in the offseason. And like always, I'll keep you guys up to date about that when it comes to that particular moment. So expect those videos to come. And also, Rob Pelinka, please, do you think he will stick around as the GM for the Lakers, or do you think the Lakers will go after somebody in the offseason that will benefit them when it comes to business wise? Or do you think maybe the Lakers will keep Rob Pelinka, but maybe go for an executive for president of basketball operations? I mean, it still remains to be seen about that. So, yeah, guys, please give me your thoughts about that in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and like all of my social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at ZSPN. And of course, subscribe to my podcast, ZSPN. It is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public. I really do appreciate you showing me the love support there. And of course, on all of my social media sites. And of course, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Go Lakers. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.